Better Call Saul has been on the air for the last 6 years, and now we're witnessing its final stages as it airs its last season. The spin-off from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, has stood pretty firmly on its own feet thanks to the compelling storyline and stellar cast. Speaking of the cast, for today's episode we'll be sharing with you things you didn't know about the cast of Better Call Saul, so stay tuned. To begin with, did you know that the actress Rhea Seehorn is a talented artist? We're starting today's interesting facts about the cast with Rhea Seehorn, who portrays the role of Jimmy McGill's wife and fellow attorney Kim Wexler. Did you know that the actress studied painting first before she decided to try the entertainment industry? Now you do. In fact, some of her paintings are used as props in one of the episodes. When a fan on Twitter asked if the actress paints occasionally, she answered that the bird paintings seen above Kim's bed were actually hers during the Cobbler episode of Better Call Saul. Next, were you aware that lead actor Bob Odenkirk almost starred in The Office? Because Steve Carell was unavailable, Bob Odenkirk was cast as Michael Scott on The Office. However, Odenkirk was replaced when Carell's schedule became available. Odenkirk did, however, return for an episode as a Philly version of Michael Scott at the end of The Office's run. Continuing with the trivia, did you know Carrie Condon played a recurring role in AMC's The Walking Dead? The character of Stacey Ehrmantraut, played by Carrie Condon, has featured on The Walking Dead 3 times, twice as a walker. She was, however, prominently featured in the series' 4th season opening as Clara, a lady who maintained a relationship with her zombie husband and sought to feed Rick to him. Up next, did you also know that Patrick Fabian also portrayed a professor's role in the 90s sitcom Saved by the Bell? We know Patrick Fabian as the law partner of Chuck McGill, Howard Hamlin, but the actor portrayed the role of the heartthrob Professor Lasky in Saved by the Bell: The College Years. His character also had an affair with the head cheerleader and all-rounder Kelly Kapowski in the popular sitcom. Since we're at the topic of old roles, did you know Jonathan Banks starred in a sex ed film? We know Jonathan Banks for playing the role of no-nonsense cop Mike Ehrmantraut, but before landing this cool role, there's one previous role he wished he never did. The actor, who just appeared on Conan, has finally spoken up about his role in the 1974 sex ed film. The actor portrayed a naive boyfriend of a 15-year-old girl who was experiencing her first menstruation. He revealed that he did it as a courtesy to a friend whose fiancé was producing the film during his guest appearance on Conan. He also blasts the motherfuckers who placed it up on the internet in the first place for everyone to see. But to be fair, he managed to land the role of the hitman Zach in Beverly Hills Cop, which catapulted him to fame, so it all worked out for the better. Speaking of old acts, Michael McKean, who played Chuck McGill, was also the oldest male ever cast on Saturday Night Live. In addition to this, the actor, along with Dan Aykroyd, are the only 2 people who have ever been on Saturday Night Live as a cast member, host, and musical guest. Before Daryl Hammond, he previously played Bill Clinton on Saturday Night Live. The actors of Jesse Pinkman and Gus Fring have worked together before Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Giancarlo Esposito and Aaron Paul, who played Gus Fring and Jesse Pinkman respectively, had previously collaborated on a show before Breaking Bad. In 2006, they co-starred in a first-season episode of Jennifer Love Hewitt's Ghost Whisperer. But unlike these aforementioned actors, Brockhampton appeared in an uncredited role for a few times. Brockhampton plays the role of Ernesto, who is not only a friend and former co-worker of Jimmy McGill and Kim Wexler, but also a former employee of Hamlin and McGill. In another sitcom, the actor has already made an appearance on Friday Night Lights 13 times as an uncredited Lions football player with the jersey number 8. And the sound guy? He's a music guy in real life. Julian Bonfiglio, who plays the grungy sound guy for Jimmy McGill's video productions, began his acting career as a model in Italy. He can also sing and play guitar, according to reports. Funnily enough, Thomas Schnauz admits that the character he plays has no name and is only known as Sound Guy. And finally, we have Stephen Bauer, who has quite the illustrious acting career out of most cast members. Stephen Bauer, who portrays Don Eladio in both Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, has a long and distinguished career, which includes a Golden Globe nomination for his supporting role in Scarface, where he acted alongside Al Pacino. Bauer is also the ex-husband of Melanie Griffith, with whom he has a child, and the ex-boyfriend of Lydia Loughton, who is 40 years Bauer's junior, which, by the way, is also younger than his own children. Oh, and did you know Loughton's mother was a Tea Party founding member? Now you do. The Tea Party group claims to be the only youth-founded, youth-owned, and youth-controlled movement dedicated solely to the Tea Party's future. Since we're already on the topic of interesting facts about the cast, we might as well talk about some of the lesser-known facts about the show. For starters, did you know Better Call Saul started as a joke at the writer's room in Breaking Bad? They used to joke around in the writer's room for Breaking Bad about making a show exclusively about Saul. After a few years of being the brunt of the writer's jokes, Vince Gilligan decided to press through with the Saul spin-off. Series creators Vince Gilligan and Peter Gold revealed in an interview with the Rolling Stone that the original plan for the show was for it to be a half-hour comedy show, similar to the animated show Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist, where Saul would be visited by different celebrity guests every week. The show's premise was eventually abandoned, and Better Call Saul evolved into the show that people know and love. However, you don't need to watch Breaking Bad to appreciate Better Call Saul. Although we know the latter is the spin-off prequel of the AMC hit, Bob Odenkirk has gone on record saying, "If you know Saul, you're going to smile a lot, and there are a lot of little touches everywhere that will make you feel in on the building of the character. But you certainly can watch Better Call Saul and not know Breaking Bad. You would just be introduced to a new character and a lot of layers of who is this guy that no one's ever seen before." Let's talk about visuals. Did you know it's heavily inspired by Stanley Kubrick's works? Breaking Bad's Western aesthetic style will not be used in Better Call Saul, according to the show's writers. Instead, the show's creators have stated that they're aiming for a design that is uniquely Breaking Bad, citing aesthetic references from films such as Stanley Kubrick. And get this, colors play a huge role in the series. Color was a recurrent motif in Breaking Bad, often forecasting trouble or highlighting character flaws. Marie's fixation with purple, anyone? Peter Gold, the showrunner, has suggested that this usage of color will continue in Better Call Saul, implying that criminals will be dressed in bright hues. The events in Better Call Saul take place in 2002, 6 years before Walter White meets Saul. While the actual period between the start of Breaking Bad and the day Walt meets Saul is unknown, the internet has seized on this fact and appears to agree that they met in 2006 in the show's reality. Because a particular date for Breaking Bad's run was never specified, this would be completely new information. And we finally got to know the reason behind Saul's bad knees. Saul cries about his painful knees in episodes of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. There's a reason, according to writer Thomas Schnauz. Schnauz told The Hollywood Reporter that they assumed he must have taken a lot of terrible falls on the ice in Chicago, and he probably screwed up his knees coming down all the time. When we did it in Breaking Bad, we didn't have a reason that he had bad knees. But it's nice when we can tie those threads together, Schnauz told THR. And finally, Bob Odenkirk reveals the reason for his character's horrible comb-over. Bob Odenkirk explained to Terry Gross of Fresh Air that there's a reason Saul has such a bad comb-over. It's a comb-over that's pretty clearly a comb-over, with a growing bald spot and yet at the same time somehow a mullet in the back, Odenkirk remarked, adding that the style perfectly depicts Saul's persona. The actor further explained that he's cleaned up on the sides because he's all business, and the comb-over is to try to look younger, and the mullet is to try to look like a relaxed dude, but who's also capable of focusing and being serious. With that, we're wrapping up today's episode about the things you didn't know about the cast of Better Call Saul. Have you watched the latest season yet? Without dropping spoilers, let us know all about it in the comments section below. Before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.